Welcome to You, Me, Empathy. Thank you for listening. We would like to remind you that this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Known as just a silly boy with a feely heart. Please consider supporting the show. Check us out on Patreon or simply leave a review on iTunes. Here's your host and creator of the show, Known Wells.
Hello, feely humans. Welcome to episode 54 of You, Me, Empathy. This is the final episode of 2018. And we did 54 episodes this year. Technically 55 because there was an episode 0. But that's, we did it, you guys. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of me. I am proud of this podcast. I'm proud of this community. I'm so grateful for everything that my guests talked about, everything that we explored on this podcast, the growth that I saw in myself thanks to this podcast. I'm just in awe of you guys and your vulnerability. And let's continue to grow it, shall we? Let's do that together. This is a mission, an empathy mission. And I know you're courageous enough to take on that mission because I hear from you every day via Instagram or Twitter or the Facebook community or, via your iTunes reviews, all of it. It's stunning how beautiful you guys are, and we're just a community of feely humans out to spread more empathy in the world and talk about mental health, talk about our own mental health, and allow others to see that it's not too bad. It's not so scary to talk about that stuff, and you can do it. We can do it together. So today's episode, by the way, Happy New Year's. It's New Year's Day. No, not New Year's Day. It's the 31st of December, 2018. And so I hope whatever you're thinking about going into 2019, just make sure it's couched in some kindness and awareness and acceptance. And, very little, actually no, 0% of any form of the word or phrasing crushing it or killing it or any sort of language like that. I'm not fond of that. Just be kind to yourself. Know that you made it through another year and it's just another day, and we have our ups and downs, and we have our ebbs and flows, and that's what life is. And as long as you're sort of thinking about your heart, you're leading with your heart, you're embracing empathy, you're being vulnerable, those are the things that matter. Right? Rightio. So have a safe and wonderful New Year's Eve. I hope 2019 starts off beautiful for you. You wake up maybe with a doggy by your side, or I don't know, you read a book on New Year's Day, something like that. I guess that's me just projecting of what I want to do on New Year's Day. You do you, feely human. So today, on the very last episode of 2018, episode 54, I chat with my friend Daniel Griffith. We talk about his experience growing up in the foster care system, the lessons he's learned in suffering, and the human connections that have saved his life. It's a really fantastic episode. I really enjoyed talking with Daniel. He's a really interesting dude, and I like him. He's got a sweet heart, and he wants to make the world a better place, which is the best thing, which is the best thing. This is what we all should want. So Tony, the therapist, also sits in on this one, so I'll enjoy that little bonus. And I hope you enjoy it. The last thing I wanted to mention before I go, and this is kind of something I wanted to do last minute, and I made it happen. I went back through each episode we did in 2018, and I listed out the empathy heroes that my guest and myself mentioned in 2018, and I'm just going to list them here because, I don't know, I guess it's a reminder that there are many empathy heroes in the world, and they're all around us. And to me, that gives me hope, and that makes me happy, and that I'm at peace with that. It brings me peace. It like I said, mostly it's a hopeful feeling. It's also, these are people to look up to as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. The empathy heroes mentioned in 2018 are Adam Hazlitt, Han King, Paul Gilmartin, Becca Hall, Benjamin Dewey's mom, Carl Sagan, Greta Gerwig, Diana Castle, E.E. Cummings, Margaret Atwood, Scooby, my dog, Jenny, Eric's girlfriend, Jessica, my wife, Ross, Laura's husband, Laura's parents, Ariana, Laura's colleague, Mindy Holohan, Jordana's sister Aviva, Marty Noxon, Kevin Briggs, Wilson Rawls, Alethea's mom and brother, Brene Brown, Amelia Butcher, Maria Bamford, Janice Galloway, Zach Walls, John Brewster Loomis, Tyler, David's girlfriend, Lydia Millett, James, the homeless man, Rich and Cynthia, Emma Gonzalez, me, that was a shocker, Stephanie Whittles-Walks, Matt Colville, Stephen Hawking, Jason's daughter Mia, Mr. Rogers, Marie Catherine, John Peters, J.K. Rowling, The Iron Giant, Elizabeth Lame's mom, Brooklyn Prince, the character Mooney from the Florida Project, Phil Oakes, Ellen Ripley, Robin Steinberg, David Feig of the Bale Project, Nate Powell, Jen, Michelle's friend, Victor Hugo, The Great British Bake Off, the Yumi Empathy Community, Erica Livingston, that's Lindsay's friend, Becky Leonard, Janessa, Karen's teacher friend, Karen Nicole, Haley's husband and friend Madison, the authors of Pasadena Loves YA, Carrie Arcos, Lauren Miller, Brandy Colbert, and Marissa Reichart, Stephanie's husband, Joseph Campbell, Temple Grandin, Ursula Le Guin, Anne Lamott, Julia of How Am I Feeling, Alan Alda, Maria Popova of Brain Pickings, Don Cheeto's character in Reign Over Me, Elizabeth Lame, Desmond Tutu, the kids from E.T., Joseph, Rebecca's husband, Maria Harrison, Brene Brown again, Mary Oliver, Audre Lorde, Lydia Millett again, Robin's dad, the realtors that we had for our house, Julia's best friend Elizabeth, Francie, Danny's 6-year-old daughter, waste management customer support person Angelica, Aaron's 8-year-old son Ender, and Miss Millie Butterbuns. So those were the empathy heroes of 2018. Wasn't that fun? Any hoozles. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. I love you guys. I'm so proud of all of us. We're in this together. We're in this empathy journey together. And let's make 2019 even bigger and brighter and more beautiful. Okay? Let's do that together. So enjoy this episode 54, with my guest Daniel Griffith on foster care and lessons learned in suffering.
La la la, you, me, empathy, yeah.
Welcome to You, Me, Empathy, a podcast about exploring the struggles we face in our day-to-day lives as humans trying to get by on this wondrous and overwhelming pale blue dot. The intent of You, Me, Empathy is to talk openly, without judgment, about our neuroses, our mental illnesses, our shared anxieties and worries, to create a dialogue that is vulnerable and deeply human and empathetic, and to share that dialogue with others to inspire emotional and cognitive collaboration and insight so we can, hand in hand, break down the stigma that make us feel shame and guilt for struggling, for feeling our feelings, for being human. You, Me, Empathy is a safe, friendly space designed to inspire the beauty in each of us. Today, I am honored to take another empathy journey with philosophy nerd, wanderer, and mindset ponderer, Daniel Griffith. Hello, Daniel.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. Happy to have you. Daniel is here in studio, listeners, and it's very excited. Tony is also here to do a little color commentary.
Yeah, I'm handling.
Hey, Tony.
Hey there.
This is a special. This is a very special episode.
First time ever done, right?
First time we've ever done a regular episode with Tony in the studio. So
Tony's
this is
my
very exciting.
handler.
Tony's Daniel's handler. So very excited to have you, buddy. I cherish you. I appreciate you as a human, and I'm excited to delve into your story. Before we do that, though, we always do an emotional check-in. How are you feeling today? How's your week been?
I'm feeling nervous just because I'm like talking about my life, and it's weird because a lot of it's like hidden to people. Like I have this underlying feeling that I feel like everybody knows about what's going on and what's happened to everybody. Like they know their backgrounds, but they're not aware of it. So it's like my closest friends all know me and they know everything that I've gone through. But I think for a lot of people, like I'm just this really happy, silly guy.
Sure.
And then when they like see something intelligent come out of my mouth, they're just like, I don't know where the fuck that came from. Like, what the hell? But I'm a pretty serious person, and lately I've been really active on the nonprofit I told you about that I want to start, which is going to be for like emancipated foster kids, children who have just been abused or can't afford therapy, because I think therapy is really cool, and I would like to make a way for not necessarily therapy, but I'll probably talk about this through the podcast. But basically, I got really lucky with everybody I ever met my whole entire life. Like they made me who I am through like pieces of them, and they saved me from killing myself. Like, and a lot of them never knew that.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it was these emotional connections that I made that saved me. So I want to start a nonprofit where kids have emotional connections that save them, because if they're in foster care, they're in hell. They're like already somewhere they don't want to be. They're already somewhere where they don't really understand the concepts of love.
Yeah.
They're not getting that. Like if they are, they're not getting it in the right amount. They're not getting it in the right environment. So just having a friend who's going to listen to you, whether it's a therapist, a life coach, or just somebody who wants to make that connection with you, is going to make all the difference in the world. And it's not necessarily just foster kids. It's just people in general. Because it's like, shit, like it's like, we'll use like an example. Like say you're growing up in a home with two parents and one of them's abusive, and then they end up getting a divorce, like, and you take custody and the other person's like not involved anymore, like you want them gone, like, and you think that's the right call. It's cool, but the kid's still going to be hurting. Like they don't understand why like what happened to them happened, and they might not be able to talk to you about that because you might have like a biased image of your partner.
Sure.
Like, yeah, like, but it's just good to get them a friend and have them go to some place where they feel safe.
Yeah, I love that.
Anyway, like it's good. It's healing. It makes you more resilient to everything that you go through. But that's what I've been working on. Getting way too into philosophy. Not really gonna talk about that because that'll get me into some crazy rabbit holes and we'll lose track.
No worries.
Yeah,
no worries.
but
We'll go wherever we want to go.
Yeah. But
That's
other than
fine.
that, I'm pretty good. Like, for the most part, I'm always happy.
Yeah.
I'm a very happy person.
Well, I thank you for sharing that, and I really am excited to talk more about the work you're doing and the nonprofit you want to create, and your story, of course. I think that what is interesting to me, and we'll get into this, is the aspects of parts of your friends or people know you as this one thing, right?
Yeah.
And maybe others know you as perhaps a different thing based on what you've shared with them. And I think that that's an interesting thing. And I think that's probably something we can all relate to, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't all share. Not everyone's like me and just wants to share all of my deepest, darkest secrets with everyone,
and
right?
not everybody wants to hear it.
Not everyone wants to hear it. Yeah,
this dude needs to chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Dude, what's he talking about?
Yeah. So I relate to that, and so let's get into it. I want to hear maybe you have a fascinating story. I know the little beats, but walk me through maybe.
We're gonna start from the beginning.
Let's start from the beginning.
Start from the
Do
beginning,
it.
because
Let's go.
day one isn't good. Kierkegaard has a quote, and he says that everybody comes into the world crying, and nobody asks if they wanted to come in, and nobody cares when you die.
Oh yeah,
Like
great
nobody
quote.
cares to ask you. Something along those lines. But yeah, I came into the world crying, and in utero. Well, I don't know how many days, so I'm not going to say that. But the day I went to the hospital, my mom shot up on heroin, and I got taken away from her. Like, she immediately lost custody.
Yeah.
There's a silver lining here, and there's a lot of thought. I'm not going to really go into the silver linings and all the good things as I tell the story,
Okay.
because I think suffering is a great thing in a really unique way. I think it really expands consciousness and the ability to think, and I think pain is power as long as you don't let it overpower you. And I think that's the hard part, is finding that balancing act. But I think once you come out of it, you come out way stronger and way better and way more resilient. And then you now have the ability to go in and save anybody else who's drowning in the same waters you drowned in.
Absolutely. That's what this show's all about.
Yeah, and that's what people should do. Like, if you're in a bad place, like, the best thing you can do is make yourself better and go help people who are in your situation.
Absolutely.
I think that's like a beautiful thing. And if you don't think you have a purpose, it's right there. Like, that's what you can do.
Help others.
Yeah, you just go and help others.
Take your experiences.
But you got to take care of yourself first.
Absolutely.
That's one of the most
Absolutely.
important things.
So you were born
Yeah.
crying.
Yeah, I was born crying. And I got taken away from my mother the day one. They called foster care. Or I don't know who they called. But I ended up getting planted in a home. And these people ended up adopting me 2.5 years later. But before then, my mother tried to get me. And I was really mad about this, like, basically my whole life, because I always just thought my mother relapsed. And she did. She relapsed. And she stopped showing up, and she couldn't pass drug tests. And then I ended up just being completely stuck in the foster care system. Like, my mom disappeared, basically because my father was a meth head too. They were both illegal immigrants, I believe. That's what I was told. I had one sister. Her name was Stephanie. She was a year younger than me. And I had an older brother named Benny. Both of them are dead.
From the same parents?
Yeah, I think Benny was a half brother, and I think there's multiple half brothers and sisters, but the one that I always held on to was my sister Stephanie.
Right.
And she helped me a lot through my life, like a lot. I never met her. I had a dream about her once, and that was about it. But for the most part, like, we'll get into that later, because recently I found out she passed away when I went to live for her, which was a big bummer. But anyways, so yeah, it sounds really cool. Like, I got adopted. Like, yeah, I'm safe now. Like, I'm in a new home. But it's like, no, I'm in a foster home with other kids, and other kids aren't nice. Like, so for a good majority of the years, I don't know, like, the exact age, but basically until I could fight, like, basically, and when, at the point when I became vulnerable to a predator, like, obviously nobody's going to be hurting a baby. But the second I could be abused, I was abused.
How old were you? Like 5, 6?
Yeah, we'll say
there?
like 5, 6. Like, I was abused by other kids. I was sexually abused. I was physically abused.
By all the other kids?
Not all the other kids. It was like hit or miss.
Okay.
And
older kids?
yeah, they were always older because they could pick on me. And it was until I could fight back that they would stop. But like, obviously it sounds like, oh yeah, like you're the victim. But it's like, at some point I was probably the bully too. Because at some point, like, I probably wasn't always that nice to other kids, just because of what happened to me. Like, it's like,
well, you're in a situation where
yeah.
you're being abused again and again. You know, it makes sense you'd develop this skin and this reaction. You know, it's a perfectly natural reaction.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, it's like,
it's hard to be in that
sucks.
place. It's hard to be in an aggressive or an abusive place, especially when you're a sweet guy like yourself.
Yeah. And I just that's what I'm saying, is I wasn't always sweet. Like, I had a demon inside of me that protected me. Like, clearly.
What does that mean?
Like, I was mean to other kids. Like, I would see other kids who were going to bully me, and I would just know how to bully them first. Like, they would come through the door, and they would come into my house at that point. And it wasn't like I was going to roll over and let them hurt me if I thought they were going to hurt me. And like, Tony can talk about this because it's like it's a psychology thing, but it's like my ability to read people was like through the roof. So if
Well,
you-
it had to be.
Yeah.
You developed a survival mechanism.
yeah. Like my fight or flight skills were like
Yeah.
through the roof, and I couldn't fly, so I had to learn how to fight.
There's nothing to be ashamed of,
Yeah.
though.
I mean, I'm not ashamed of it, but it's just like
It's
that's
difficult.
a monster that's in me, and I know it's in everybody.
Yeah.
Like, but they don't recognize it, and I think recognizing that you're capable of bad things is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's good to know how you'll respond in a really tough situation, and it sucks to learn that, but it's like a silver lining. Like, it's a good thing. But I never told my parents. I didn't. Well, I kind of would tell them like, "Yo, this kid's kind of hurting me," but I didn't really know what was going on.
How many kids were in the foster home with you?
We did foster care and respite in the home, and I think there were probably, I'm just gonna say 50, but we'll say 50, and we'll say I had conflicts with 12 of them.
Okay.
Like conflict, and whether it was like me being mean or them being mean. And when I say me being mean, it's not like I was like a terrible monster, but it was just like I would manipulate them into getting kicked out of the home. And I don't think my mom knows that. But like if I saw them like them having the ability to cause problems, I would make sure they were gone. But some of them I couldn't ever get out because it was just like they'd been kicked out of too many homes. And my mom has a big heart and she didn't want them to get kicked out. Like,
Did you feel protective of your mom?
I was very protective of my mom. I was extremely protective of my mom, and there were times when I would like, there were kids that were like maybe be like twice as big as me. Like I would be like 8, and they'd probably be like 14, and they would be like yelling at my mom or getting close to being physical with her, and even little 8-year-old me would like step in and be like, "Nah, like that's my mom." Like.
So did you ever talk, first of all, my heart goes out to you and dealing with such trauma, physical and sexual at such a young age. Did you ever talk to your mom about that? Did you feel like you had that opening?
I did later, but I never wanted her to know about it. Like that was my biggest issue. And I never wanted my mom to know.
Why do you think that is?
Because I knew her. Like I didn't want my mom to be sad. I didn't want my
too
mom
much of a burden.
Well, it's like
on
my
her?
mom's trying to save all these kids.
Yeah.
And like the one kid she adopts, like to hear like, oh yeah, this kid got beaten, like the one I really tried to save, like the one who I wanted to join my family, like he got screwed up. Like you don't want to hear that. You don't ever want to know that as a parent.
Yeah.
And I knew that as a kid. And Tony and I were talking about that earlier. It's like the parent's role is to protect the kids from the outside world. The role is not supposed to be reversed. It's not supposed to be me protecting my parents.
Of course.
But that's what it was, because it's like at some point I did, and I'll get to that. But I lost my train of thought. Well, we'll get to that then. We'll just go there.
Yeah.
So well, no, I know what I was going to say. I didn't like my life at all. I would like hide in the closet a lot. I would try and play video games. I think I cried until I was 9, like literally 9, about my mom. Like I felt so abandoned. I felt alone. It wasn't like I was in a safe place. I was in a place with other kids who hurt me. I was in a place with kids who had it worse than me. I was in a place with kids who could go home and see their parents, and I envied that. And even though I was adopted and I only saw my mom before I even turned 1, like I missed her. Like there was some crazy biological connection. I always thought about my sister because I always hoped she had it better than me. And I always wanted to make it out of my home just so I could make sure she was okay.
Yeah.
Because I never met her, but I loved her. Like that was my blood. Like I knew she got to stay with my parents, and my parents were screwed up. And I always just thought she had it way worse than me for some reason. And in the long run, she did. She had it way worse than me. But yeah, I hated school. Like I absolutely hated school. I'm dyslexic, which is funny because I absolutely love to read. And I was always in like the dyslexic programs, which never made me feel any better about myself.
Sure.
But even in that like thing, I think in the 2nd grade I could do algebra, but I couldn't read until about the 3rd grade. So that always that annoys me now, because it's like the thing like, yo, there's a flaw and then there's something really good, but we're going to focus on fixing the flaw. We're not going to focus on elevating the gift. Mm-hmm. So like that really bugged me, and Tony can talk about that because he knows me pretty well and how I view education. Probably because of all of that, like it's really frustrating for me. But and then I got moved to a Christian school, and I was raised religious my whole life. Well,
at what age were you moved to this school?
It was the 6th grade, and
Were you at public school for that?
Yeah, I was at public school, and I really did not like going to the Christian school because I was losing my friends.
Why were you moved?
So originally I was at this Christian school, it's Calvary, in preschool. And then they realized I was dyslexic, and they're like, we don't offer anything for these like kind of kids. Like, we can't help him with his learning disabilities. So they sent me to public school.
Wow, that's fascinating.
But I think it's because it's a private school and they just don't have the resources. Like,
gotcha.
I mean, they told my mom in preschool because like they didn't want me to have to deal with them not being able to provide me the help they wanted. But then in the 6th grade, it was like, okay, he can read, he can write, he's caught up, he's fine. Like, we'll send him back, because my mom really wanted me to have a Christian education. She's a Christian. My views on God are probably pretty different than hers, and we don't really need to get into that because we just see things a little differently.
Sure.
But yeah.
So in the 6th grade, you went to this new school.
Yeah, and then I had to make new friends. But the thing is, I reconnected with some friends from preschool, and I can say I'm probably one of the only people that I've ever met who has a best friend that they had in preschool. And
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool, dude. I know 2 people who have best friends from preschool, and I don't feel special
in your face,
anymore.
Daniel.
Yeah, fuck me. But no. So yeah, like in this, it sounds terrible, but what really saved my life was just having all the friends that I made, and I made this friend in preschool, and his name's Kyle, and we're still best friends today.
It's amazing.
Lives out of nowhere, and then in kindergarten, I made my best friend Lucas. And we've had our differences, but he's still one of my best friends. And it's just like, I got really lucky. This is when I was talking earlier about like the pieces that people share with me and I share with them saved my life. And it's like these friendships really saved my life because I never, ever had to feel scared or worried when I was at my friends' houses or anything like that.
And they didn't have to, I'm sorry to interrupt, but like I think you're so right in pointing out the how powerful our connections can help in our own journeys. I was just thinking about this yesterday, thinking about the time I was in Wales and sort of dealing with some darkness myself. And the people around me were just very caring, very kind. They didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah, they don't have to.
But they don't have to. It's just the
compassion
connection. It's just the connections you make.
And it's a safe place. Like those relationships become safe places.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is probably one of the best things that happened to me. And I don't want to take this away from the parents who adopted me because they're wonderful and I love them to death. But I forgot to mention, and I was with them this morning. I was with my godparents, and they are the ones who really saved me. And they don't know this, but they found me when I was 6 months old at a thing for foster children called ARC. And the foster children got to go. It was just to give like the foster parents some time away, so they can like do stuff. It was kind of like maybe like a 2-4 hour daycare where you get to go and play in the park and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I met my godmom there, and she really liked me. So, I was networking at 6 months old, so it's a gift.
Well, what's not to like?
Yeah, starting young. But they just fell in love with me. And I think until I was maybe like 14, 15, I went over to their house every weekend. And that's like the connection I want to replicate in my nonprofit. I mean, maybe not that intimate, but actually the goal would be to be that intimate, to have a place where you feel that safe. And it's like I went over there and I got to be away from all the foster kids. Yeah. And it was just me and my godparents.
Oh, man.
And I got to feel like what it was like to be with a family. So, like, even though I was sad and beaten, it was like I could put all that behind me. Mind you, I would still deal with it. Like, there was never a time in my life where I thought I could bury everything that happened to me. And I got lucky with that thought because I think that's helpful. Like, I knew I was going to have to deal with it. But just having these 2 people in my life, they made it so much easier. Like, even going to school being scared I wasn't going to have friends or whatever, like, I still had my godparents. Like,
you had a break from it momentarily.
Like, new kid. And it's funny because I was really protective of my godparents. My godmom was telling me that I think I was like 2.5 and she picked up another baby at ARC, and I walked up and I hit him in the face. And I was just a little kid. And I'm pretty sure that was completely intentional. Like, oh, I'm a 2.5-year-old dicking around. No, I probably did that on purpose. And I'm happy I did that.
What kinds of... Describe the environment when you were there at your godparents every weekend. Like, what did you guys do? What were they like?
So usually they would just say it would spoil the shit out of me. And they know that. But they would take me to the store. I would just come over there. I would just be able to watch movies. We'd go to the park. We'd play outside. They would read me stories at night. We would play games. Every Saturday morning, I would come into their room and I would rip the covers off their bed and I would lay on the ground. And I don't know why, I just liked waking them up knowing they were next to me. And I would turn the TV on in their room.
That's sweet.
And then, I never wanted to leave there. Like, I loved it. And I remember I was very protective. Like, if another foster kid was going to go over there, it was not going to happen. Like, I was not happy about that. But, yeah.
I find this image of, like, you holding on to these moments and these things that you know are, like, anchoring and grounding and helpful for you.
Yeah.
And you're very protective of it. It's
it should
it makes sense.
Yeah, everyone should. If you find something like that and your life's not that good, you should be protective.
Hold on with your dear life.
Yeah. Because that's what's gonna save you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was basically like I lived in two worlds. I lived in heaven and hell. Like over like there it felt like heaven, and at my house it felt like hell. And like I said, I don't want my parents to think that was their fault. We can talk about that too. Like, I told them I was being hurt and they didn't know the extent of it. And Tony might have a different definition of it, but to me it was just kind of being overly empathetic for the other hurt children, because it was just like, you don't want to see, they're hurt and they're the victim of things, and you don't want to believe they're really hurting your son. For one, like, they're hurt. They've been hurt.
Yeah.
Your son's sad, because my mom knew I was sad. I would openly cry about, like, wanting to go home to my real parents for, like, a good while. So it's just like she didn't want to see that, and it's not her fault. But yeah, like, now I live at home, and I told this to my mom the other week, so I'm jumping to the future, maybe like 2 weeks ago. But I told her the biggest reason I like living at home is because I'm finally with my mom and dad. And
these are your adopted parents.
Yeah. But I'm finally with my mom and dad, and I'm 26, and there's no depression, there's no anxiety, there's no fighting. There's just an annoying family dynamic where my mom asks me to do stuff around the house that I don't like, which is probably normal, especially for
the most normal thing in the world.
Yeah, but like, I'm not going to have them forever. And I finally got what I wanted, and it wasn't in the time that I wanted, but it's right now. So I'm really grateful for that. And I do pay rent to live at home, which kind of sucks, mom and dad, but like, it's cool. It's not the end of the world.
Oh, these millennials, am I right, Tony?
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
So, Daniel, tell me about, you're experiencing all this trauma as a child. You moved to this Christian school in the 6th grade. At what point are you starting to look at that period of your life and find some peace with it, find clarity in it? At what point are you reconciling those? Are you still working through that? I'm sure.
I worked through it for a while, but I always have this mindset that it's better me than my sister. And that's like one of the first mindsets I have. Like, I think my sister has it bad. I have to get out of this to protect her. But it's better that I'm the one going through this than her.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that? Yeah.
I think it's because I just created this object in my mind, which is my sister, to protect myself. Because like that, I'm giving myself hope. I'm giving myself something to hold on to. Mm-hmm. And it might not have been that either. Like, I might just have hated myself so much that I couldn't say, I need to do it for me. I need to do it for her.
Yeah.
So it could be a combination of the two in that. And it probably was, because I really did hate myself. I wanted to kill myself for a long time. And then I met this kid. And this is probably one of the most significant things that happened to me. Because as I told you, like, I wasn't the nicest kid. I was mean, I was manipulative, I wasn't happy. But there was this kid I was playing games with, and his name was Preston, and he was a little guy. And I remember every time I would play games with him, I never really thought anything of it, but I was really nurturing. I was like, I would always take care of him. I would make sure he was doing well. And it was just all about him when we played games. And he looked at me and he's just like, I wish you were my dad, because every time I come home, my dad beats me, and he beats my mom. And he's like, you're the nicest person I've ever met. Like, you're so nice to me. I just wish you were my dad. And I remember that moment, just like, that stuck with me it's never going to go away. But I was just like,
yeah, what a gift that is.
I was like, holy shit, like, I'm a monster and I need to shape up. And like, I shouldn't want to kill myself. Like, because I need to help kids like this. Like this poor little guy. Like, and it was always easier for me to look at other kids and see their pain than look at myself and see mine. And that was probably not a selfless thing. it was probably just me trying to avoid dealing with my own issues.
Oh yeah, that's the most normal thing in the world.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, I can make them bigger, but in reality, you need to take care of yourself more than anybody else. Because if your leg's broken, how are you going to walk over to somebody and help them with their broken leg?
Yeah.
Like you're not. You can't.
What a gift that is! You in that moment, feeling suicidal, feeling so much anguish and pain, and wanting to end your life. And then he coming to you and validating your own validating your own existence and this capacity for love that you do have.
I think he showed me a love that I didn't know was there. And there was a book that Tony had me read. I forget the name of it. I forget what it was about, but I just remember it opened up with a line that said the heart has to break for it to open. And I really liked that because I think it's true. Like, you have to suffer a little bit to understand like what true love is in a certain way. And like, I suffered, and that kid, he came and he opened up my heart because he showed me the other side of the coin that I hadn't experienced. Well, I had with my godparents, and I had with my parents too, because we had a lot of good times too. But it was was like a definitive motive for my life.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
What
moment?
Yeah. What tools, what things have helped you in facing these traumas? Therapy, self-talk?
Therapy, self-talk, philosophy. Biggest thing is probably empathy. So I'm going to finish, and then you should write down this note, because then we can go back.
Okay.
Because I think empathy is pretty significant.
Wait, am I just putting empathy on this note?
Yeah, you put empathy.
I think I'll get to empathy.
On the You Me Empathy podcast.
Oh, all right, cool.
Can you remember that?
I think I'll remember that. Yeah.
All right, cool. But yeah, empathy is a very big tool, but we'll get into that. So now I'm at this school, and I don't really like it. I don't know anybody. I end up making a lot of really great friendships that I still have today. I love all those friends to death. I love all my friends so much. Yeah. And
it sounds like you have a lot of love in your heart, Daniel.
I do, but I think it's a balance. Like, I think I'm very lucky because I don't think you get to heaven without rooting your roots in hell. And I think I grew up in hell, so I know what it's like. Because you can say you don't believe in hell, or you can say you believe in it, and people who are bad are going to go there. But I can tell you right now that hell's right here on this planet, and there are people in it right around you. And if you can get them out of there, like, you have no other choice but to do that.
Be here now. Yeah.
Like, they're in there, and that's no place for anybody to be. And then once you get them out of there, then like, you can settle for just being out of hell, and you can be bored and content with your life, or you can try and make the world a better place and put your branches to heaven and then bear fruit for everybody to pick. And that's my goal.
I love that. That's beautifully said.
It's a two-sided coin. Like, but better to be a whole person than just a good person. Like, know what your monster is. So that's why I talk about that. It's like, I know what I'm capable of, and it validates the good I do, because I know what I could be, and I know where parts of my mind want to be, but I'm so far from that now that it makes me appreciate the love in my heart.
And you're being realistic. You're cognizant of the reality that life is pain at times.
Yeah.
And life is joy at times.
Yeah. If you got a pulse, you got a problem. And that's not saying the pulse is the problem. I was telling Tony this last night. The problem is that you're existing, and you're always going to have some kind of conflict going on. Sure. Whether it be like a relationship, like, it doesn't even have to be, it could be a good conflict. Like, you could be just stuck somewhere in two good places, or it can be a bad conflict. But either way, like, it's not always going to be fun. It's not always going to be bad. And like, it's so many things, and they all complement one another. Yeah. Because like, if my life didn't suck so much, like, I wouldn't be as happy as I am now that I overcame it. Like, I would just be this dude cruising, like, oh yeah, like, I don't know. It's, if you had a good life and you got to just stay with your parents and they never got divorced and you never had to experience trauma, good for you. I used to envy that a lot, but I appreciate everything that I learned from my life. And I think if you have my situation or something along those lines, like, you need to learn how to do that, because you can pull so much from that.
Absolutely.
And you can go and you can teach the people who didn't have that what it's like. And yeah.
Tell me about some of the philosophy that you've found that really has connected to you, and that has helped you. I'm fascinated.
This is gonna get.
No, that's fine. We don't have to get into your whole philosophical underpinnings.
Well, no,
but
my philosophy is crazy because it's just gonna sound really weird, and I don't think people are gonna grasp it right away, just because it's probably not something you've ever read before. But
that's fine. This is you heard it here first, folks. The philosophy of Daniel.
Yeah, I think we're the same person in a way. And I will pull
As
back.
in you and I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's a you and I. I think there's just a we. There's just an us. There's just us moving in a direction.
That's Buddhism, right?
And I think so. But I think you can like pull it out and you can see it just through the connections. Like you and me are making connections and we're like sharing. And there's something going on that we probably can't even see in terms of just being in the same room with one another. We're like sharing an experience and you're pulling something from me and I'm pulling something from you through the questions you ask. So right there, we've created a connection. So to think that like we're one big soul and interlinked isn't that big, like far-fetched for me. And it's very productive because in that, like, you should be taking care of everybody around you.
Sure.
You should be benefiting them. Their success will seep into you and their unsuccessfulness will seep into you too, because it's like we can do this on a really surface level. I see you and you're having a good day. My interaction with you is going to be a lot better than if you're having a bad day. And coming from a good interaction with somebody means I'm going to be in a better mood. So when I go home and I talk to my dog, we'll just say dog because we'll leave it at that. We don't need to do
because you talk to your dog.
Yeah, because I talk to my dog. I'm going to be in a good mood. I'm probably going to want to play.
Wilbur.
I have 2 dogs. One's named Samson. One named Wilbur. Wilbur bites people, but I love them both. Prime example of a good and bad coming together, making a family, being whole. But Tony does not like Wilbur.
I like Wilbur. I just wish Wilbur liked me.
Wilbur, yeah. Well,
Samson's awesome.
But yeah, so it's like I could come home and I could just be in a bad mood and just walk past my dog. And it's like in that, my dog doesn't get the same affection he would have just because of an interaction I had. But it's like a complicated thing. Well, it's actually not even that complicated to me. It's so simple because it's like I've had people ask me, well, what about people you don't like? And that's the best part about it is because go look in the mirror. You're going to find a ton of shit you don't like. Go look at yourself. You're not going to be able to tell me that you like everything about you. So if we are one body, it makes sense that you're not going to like everybody. Because it's like, how many things do you want to change about yourself? Because I can probably give you like 100-item list right now. And I love myself.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean there's room for improvement. And then certain parts of the body aren't meant to interact with other certain part of the body. They make it whole. Like they all connect, but like they don't all.
Are you talking about like wet willies and ears?
Yeah,
that's like fingers and ears type thing.
Like fingers and ears. Yeah. Like my teeth and my feet don't correlate. Like there's no connection there, but it's all part of a team. And then I think you do have evil people in the world. And
how do you define evil?
Don't get me. Don't get me down that rabbit hole.
I know that you have a brain like this, so I'm fascinated. We can get started.
Well, I
mean, if you don't want to get started, it's your space. But
well, no. I mean, you and I can get started after, but I want it to be more focused on the story.
Okay.
Or if we have time on the end, you can write that down and ask me.
I don't need to write it down
because I think evil is so beyond what I think people think it is. Like,
so let me connect it to mental health for you. Hold on.
Okay.
I completely agree with your philosophy. I agree 100%. I do think that we as humans are connected to each other.
Yeah.
And I think that looking at the world and knowing that you can potentially impact another in a positive or negative way is a really beneficial way to look at the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I would argue it's very Buddhist. I would argue it's very Jesus-like as well.
And if they're you better fucking take care of them. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that is a huge impact on mental health.
Yeah.
Right? So when it comes to applying a thing like evil to that philosophy,
I know how to apply evil now in this context because this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so if we're all the same, we should all be selfless. So that's good. That's positive. That's us coming together. That's us moving forward. So in regards to this, my definition of evil would be somebody who's selfish, like my birth father. Like selfishness is bringing nothing because we can talk about my birth father and it's like a prime example. Like my dad couldn't overcome his addiction. And now I'm in a home being beaten because he couldn't be selfless enough to get his act together and take care of his son. Now, there's probably many variables going on with my father couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But it goes on. Like, I was beaten as a kid. Does that mean I'm going to beat other kids? No. I mean, I got rough with other kids, but I got rough with them for other reasons. But it's just like, if I was beaten by my father, do I have to beat my son? No, I can break the cycle. I can be selfless. Like, I don't have to continue to do that. I don't have to continue to do that evil.
Yeah.
And you can stop it. But I think when you are evil and you just fall so far in that pit of selfishness, you have to be removed from the body or you have to be cured, because it's like a cancer. Like, you start infecting all the other good cells.
Sure.
Like, you just have the same ripple effect, but in a negative way. Like, I get beat. I hurt another kid. I get kicked out of my house. I don't know what house he goes into. He could go into a house where he gets beat way more than like the house he wasn't going to get beat in, but he scared me enough that I threatened him. Then he goes into another house and then he gets beaten there and then he commits suicide. Like, you have no fucking idea what's going to go on.
Sure.
But it's like an act of selfishness that causes that.
Yeah. I think that's well said.
Yeah.
I think with that framework, with your philosophical framework, being someone whose focus is on being selfless, it makes sense that the thing that doesn't work in that underpinning is selfish.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
But also, good actions can have bad outcomes too. So, like, I'm not dismissing that. If anybody's out there like, well, I know.
We have lots of philosophy professors who listen to the show, so they'll
they can
email
me.
Daniel at daniel.pizza or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can email me and tell me I'm an idiot, and I'll say I know.
No. We have the sweetest, kindest people with huge hearts, so you'll get nothing but kindness.
Yeah, so another thing that helped me was my mantra, because when I was a kid, I thought I was nothing, and I thought I was no one, and I said those words because I hated myself. Like, I felt abandoned. I felt I was beaten. I didn't have it good, and I felt like nothing. I felt like no one. And then when I was in the 10th grade, my parents bribed me to go to therapy, because I think that's when I finally told them what happened. Because we had this one kid, and I don't really want to get into it too much about the details of him, but he was the last one. And I mean, bless this guy's heart. Like, he had it bad too, but he made it really bad for me. And I was done putting up with other people who had it bad. And I really wanted him gone. He didn't end up leaving, which is fine. Like, that guy had enough shit to deal with. But I finally, like, came forward and I told my parents, I was like, dude, my life's been fucked up. Like, can you get these kids out of here? Like, this is what happened to me. And it didn't come out in that kind of conversation. It came out in pure rage.
How old were you?
I was like 14.
Okay.
But I was infuriated. This guy would act up a lot. And he would end up leaving the house. He would be screaming. He would be trying to punch my dad. He would be trying to punch my mom. And it was just nonstop. And it didn't really help my PTSD. So I didn't really like that, because when that happened, I just instantly wanted to go into fight mode.
Yeah.
And then at one point, my dad was gone. And my dad would never let me intervene with them. But my dad was gone. And I remember he was fighting with my mom. And I walked in the room. And I walked in the room intentionally because I knew I would set him off. Just him seeing another person would set him off. And then he threw something at me, and then it was done for him. Like, he was done. He was sitting on the bed when he threw it at me, and I was on the bed. And I was only a 14-year-old, but I wrestled and boxed, and that guy got fucked up in like 10 seconds. And then I remember he got off the bed, and he was just standing there, and he's like, "You want to go, bitch?" And then he was done again. And my dad came home and he like praised me for standing up for my mom. And this has always been really conflicting for me, because I know I shouldn't feel this way. But then again, I'll go back to the monster. Like, I'm gonna feel this way. It felt really good. Like, it felt really good hitting that kid. And I don't think I just hit him. I think I hit everybody who hurt me. I think I hit everybody who abandoned me in that moment. And I had been waiting for that moment with that specific person just because of all the issues going on in my home that I didn't want. But my dad told me I should not feel good about that. And that was always conflicting for me. Because it's like, I think to a degree, I deserve to feel good. but I shouldn't pursue that joy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, I don't feel good about it anymore. But that was a big turning point for me. And then I looked inward and I was like, shit, I got to get help. Like, I don't like being this angry. Like,
so you came to that conclusion and then you sought therapy?
Well, my parents, I kind of told them what was going on because they could tell I was isolating myself more and more and more in high school.
Yeah.
It got to the point where it was like I couldn't just bury everything that happened to me anymore, especially with the amount of conflict that was going in the house because I was over it. Like, it was done. You can't run from your demons. They're faster than you. They're going to catch you every time. And like people try and do that, and it's like that's not the correct method. Like you need to turn and you need to look at them, and you need to accept them, and you need to put them where they belong. Like you're not going to get rid of them. You can't get rid of your scars. That's why they're scars.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so
you started therapy.
Yeah, I started therapy with my therapist, and we did this therapy called EMDR, and Tony can touch up on it. It worked really, really well for me. It worked very well for me.
Was your therapist specifically targeting your PTSD?
Yeah, that's what it specializes in. It specializes in PTSD. I wouldn't even consider myself having PTSD anymore, but I wouldn't really know how to rate that. I just know I don't overreact to anything.
Gotcha.
I mean, Tony will disagree, and he might say I'm a little neurotic, but I think
It's not.
I think in conflict I handle myself pretty level-headed. Like,
yeah, that seems that way.
My thoughts don't sway, and that's probably because it's like I healed from all the trauma, or I hope I healed. I'm still probably working on healing.
We all are,
it's like,
all the time.
But it's like now in conflict, I'm very level-headed because it's like I've been here before. Like I know how to navigate through this. Like I know what to do, and I know what not to do, and I know what's going to work, and I know what's going to get me out of here. But yeah, I got to the point where I just wanted to stop feeling sorry for myself in a way, even though I always said that like it's better me than my best friend Kyle. Like it's better me than these guys. Like I'm so happy it's me and not them. It's like, yeah, cool, dude, but like you'll be happy when you deal with it too. And that's when everything changed, in the moment where I was like, I can keep looking back and feeling sorry for myself, or I can just look forward and say, what next? And that's what I did. And I didn't do that alone because my parents helped me because they knew I was sad and they were trying to actively find me a therapist. And my computer broke. And I loved computers. Computers were my escape. Playing video games always made me feel good. It made me feel safe.
What games were you playing at that time?
I would play StarCraft. I'd play World of Warcraft.
Oh, yeah.
I liked strategy games a lot, but
nice.
Whatever I could, like any other world I could go into, which is probably why I like writing and just like
I relate to that mightily.
Like take me there and get me the fuck out of where I'm at. Like I'm gonna be happy with that. It's probably why I love comics and like Marvel.
Oh yeah,
this is just like the conflict
comes escape.
And then it gets dismissed. Like it gets conquered. Like so easy.
Look at these villains. Yeah. They're getting their due.
yeah. But it's just like my computer broke. And they were like, hey, if we give you money to buy this part, because I've been fixing and building computers since I was in the 6th grade. They're like, will you go see this therapist? And I was just like looking at him and I was like, fine. Like, fine. You guys are so annoying. I'll do it. Whatever. I want my computer fixed. And that was Kurt. And he helped me change my life. His name was Curtis. A very good therapist.
And you started with EMDR?
I started with EMDR, and then my mantra of being nothing and no one became very powerful to me because that was one of the thoughts I focused on. And it's like, from a philosophical standpoint now, it just keeps growing in meaning because it's like, I am nothing and no one. And in that, I can be whatever and something somebody else around me needs because I can mold it to the whatever they want.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like, it's a very powerful thing. And like in terms of having an ego, knowing you're nothing helps you in arguments, or well, I wouldn't say arguments, but it helps you when you talk to somebody and you have discussions so they don't lead to arguments. It's like you can be more understanding. Like your biggest weapon is neutrality, or is it neutrality on a situation? I'm like looking at the word. Yeah. And like being neutral is a very good thing. And you find that in being nothing and like crushing the ego, which is hard. It's hard for a lot of people because now, what were you going to say?
Well, empathy is a huge part of it, right?
Yeah.
Empathy is, I would argue that empathy is the thing that will change the world.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. But still, in that, it's having the ability to be empathetic when you don't want to be, which is even harder. Like that, it's very easy to hear me say this stuff and feel empathy for it. But if I was the person who hurt you and you heard this, you wouldn't feel empathy for me, even knowing what I went through. Like, you wouldn't feel that. That would be, you would have to do a significant amount of healing to get to that point.
Sure.
And I was actually talking about this with Tony like a few weeks ago. And
Who's that?
There's this guy next to me just on the Instagram. Francie just looking at chicks.
I'm looking at my feed.
But no, so I was always really mad at my birth mom. I was infuriated with her. I never wanted to meet her. Never. I had no regard for her. I'd probably call her a lot of bad names when I was growing up. I probably had nothing good to say about her. She was just scum to me.
Yeah.
Because she abandoned me. It's like, what kind of mother can't protect their kid? Like, what kind of mother can't kick a man away who's like bringing her down to protect her child? Like, I am the totality of her existence to create another human being, and she spit on that and let me go with strangers. But for the first time ever, I like looked back on that, and I was just like, maybe my mom loved me so much, she knew if I went into her house, I was just going to get fucked over more than anything else that could have happened. And she didn't want to leave, but she knew she had to.
Yeah.
Like, I think when you find empathy in those situations, your mindset changes so much, because it's like, if I had carried that with me my whole life, I probably wouldn't have been angry. I probably would have been searching for my mom, who lives in Corona. Like, she just lives down the street. But yeah, it's like, being able to get to that point will really, really, really help you.
Yeah.
Like, being empathetic for the person that hurt you the most, because they're not hurting you because they want to. They're just hurting you because they got hurt and they don't know how to deal with it. And like, that's not your fault to be the victim of that. But you can sit there and say, why me? Or you can look at why they got to that point and try and help other people not get there. Or you can try and heal people who are right where you are.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's really well said. And I think a beautiful example of how we can, find our empathy moments, but also just look at things a little differently, right?
Yeah.
And recognize that, maybe it's not about me. And maybe she was going through something that I may not even be aware of, right?
Yeah.
Like those are the types of things like we should all like have running through our brains as we're interacting with anyone.
Because that's also just going to help you problem solve. Like, it's going to help you do what I think a lot of people do, and they just go, there's something wrong with me, or it was my fault, or like, what could I have done by looking at it through the other lens of the person who hurt them the most.
I think people listening to your story, Daniel, are going to be moved and empowered, and certainly, you just have such a big heart, and I applaud you for the work you've done on yourself in dealing with that trauma. And I want to transition into talking about some of the ideas you have about your nonprofit and how that really is intrinsically related to your growing up and your experience.
That basically comes from everything I said, because I just want to be able to help everybody the way I was helped. My godparents came in, they helped me. It's pretty simple. Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the connections that I made.
Right.
I want to give other kids the opportunity to have the connections that I made, because I think that'll help them. I think if they have somebody who teaches them about what's going on and gives them like a greater emotional intelligence, they'll be able to perform better in the world. And they won't carry the burdens that they don't need to. And they'll understand why what happened to them happened, and like how to go about it from there. But,
we all have to be open to that. Sometimes it's hard to be open to that. But yeah. So where are you at in your, I know you want to create a nonprofit. Where are you at in that process?
I'm going to have everything finished in terms of the mission statement and attempted to apply for funding by next Sunday, because that was my goal.
Nice.
I want to have it done by next Sunday. This week I'm going away for work, so I'm just going to be work, and it's going to be me focusing on the nonprofit. So I'm pretty happy about that, and I think I'll get a lot done. And if I help one kid, that's all I really give a shit about, because who knows what that kid can do with the ripples that he creates in the world. So if I help 10 kids, then great. If I help 100 kids, I did something good. But the goal is to help one person.
That's awesome.
So
well, I hope I want to keep talking about that, you know, off air, and I'm curious, just keeping tabs on it. I wanna see that business thrive. I want to see that nonprofit thrive.
Too. Yeah, I just want to see people thrive.
Yeah,
because it's like there's a lot of shit in the world.
Absolutely,
doesn't have to be bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about? I can keep going on the story, but if we're short on time, we're short on time.
We're never short on time. One of the things I wanted to talk about is, I don't know where I read this, but mindset.
Yeah.
Is that a thing you think about a lot?
Yeah. And I was talking to Tony about this last night. My mindset was I need to get better so I can change the world. I'm going to change the world. I've changed the world many times. You've changed the world. Tony's changed the world. You guys just don't probably think about how you've changed it, but like every person on this world matters. And that sounds so weird because at the same time, like I don't really think that individual is like that elevated compared to another person. But it's like everybody impacts everybody around the world. So you're changing it all the time, whether you want to or not.
How does that that mindset, that philosophy, coordinate with your own Christian beliefs? Is there conflict? Maybe there's no conflict at all. I don't know.
I don't think there's conflict, but the thing is, I don't call myself a Christian, which is probably going to confuse a lot of people because I think if you follow a religion, that's great, but the best way to be an example for that is to live it. Because like you can say whatever you want in terms of what you are, but I'm not going to hear anything you say over your actions because they're
just
a lot
words.
Louder. Yeah, they're just words. But no, I don't like to label myself, and I think a lot of my Christian
you heard it here first, folks. He's a heathen. Daniel's a heathen, just like me.
I am a full-blown heretic.
We're gonna slaughter some goats after this recording. I'm just kidding.
But no, to Christians, I'm a heretic. My best friends call me a heretic because my views differ from theirs. But I think my philosophy completely lines up with Christianity and religions as a whole. In terms like the goal, I think Christianity has been painted in this weird picture, and I think that's because of agenda. Kierkegaard has a quote about Christianity, and he says the Bible's so easy to understand, but Christians are swindlers, and they don't want to acknowledge the truths in it because then they'll have to abide by them. And I don't think the Bible is like interpreted correctly by the majority of people because fundamentally it's just all about love. Like that's all it's about. Like,
yeah.
God created us. I believe in God. I 100% believe in a creator. But like right now I'm trying to figure out where that aligns with everything, which is why I'm considered a heretic.
Hopefully they say that lovingly.
I don't care how they say it. I don't care how they say it. Because Kierkegaard has another thing where he talks about fake faith and real faith. And fake faith is believing in something without ever questioning it. And then real faith is slamming it. And I think everybody should do that in regards to anything they believe. You should find the opposition and create a stronger argument against yours. And if your argument doesn't hold up, then you better change it. Because I'm not going to believe in something that doesn't hold up.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, why? What is the point of that? But yeah, I think Christianity is just all about love. Like, I don't understand where. Well, I do, and I personally think it comes from like agendas.
Yeah,
because
people bring to it what they're already believing.
And I'll talk about a philosophy. I believe. I think when we, so I'll say if, and I don't want any of my Christian friends to get mad and be like, "Well, don't say if because it happened."
This is the #1 Christian podcast.
Yeah, yeah. It's because I'm very neutral on anything I talk about because, like I said, I like to take both sides of the argument. But in terms of what I believe too. But let's say that when we ate the apple, we were given knowledge of good and evil, but we were only given partial knowledge. I think that would seep into a lot of confusion, and we could say God is love and God is whole knowledge, and we won't understand that until we're with it, him, her, whatever. Like, until we become whole again, we're not going to have that because we're here and we're limited to partial knowledge. In partial knowledge, you're going to misinterpret everything. Like, I don't like the fact that there is division in people with the same goal. Like, why are they divided? because they have partial knowledge and they think they're correct and they're casting whatever they think they know and they're not open to the ideas of other people. Like I don't like that. But yeah.
Nor do I.
Yeah. So I think that's very unproductive, and I think that tears people away from...
It's very unempathetic.
Yeah, it's very unempathetic. Like Nietzsche has a quote, and he says the biggest thing you can do to corrupt the youth is tell them that people who think differently than them are wrong.
Oh, our listeners, because this is the number 1 Nietzsche podcast, are going to be very happy you said that.
Perfect.
Right behind Christian podcast.
That's right. Yeah. Well, he did say God is dead, right?
Yeah, but he said God is dead and that we killed him, and then he was terrified because he said nobody was going to know where their morals came from at that point. Yeah.
Well, let's start wrapping up here. I really appreciate you, Daniel, and I think we should do this again. I think you have a lot to say, and I want to catch up maybe next year and see how you're doing with the nonprofit.
We can do nonprofit. If people want the other half of the story, they can get the other half.
Absolutely.
I'll say I stopped at 16. Life doesn't get easier. I don't know why I looked at my watch because it doesn't tell me the date, but it's been 9 years and shitty things have still happened. But I'm where I'm at, and I'm happy where I'm at, and I have great friends, and I have a great family, and I'm a happy guy, and I'm going to change the world.
I'm grateful for that. I really am. And I want to give listeners a chance to connect with you. But before we do that, we always wrap up the show talking about our empathy heroes.
All right.
Do you have an empathy hero? Fictional character, could be an author you loved, could be someone in your life. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
So my empathy hero this week is a little boy named Sam. He's a corgi. He's a friend. He's the son of my friends Becky and Norm. And the other day he came over here with their dog, Miss Millie Butterbuns, who's a 11-month-old Newfoundland giant bear of a dog, and huge dog, so sweet. You should meet him, Daniel. But anyways, Sam is such a sweet kid. He came over here for maybe 45 minutes and hung out with me while I was doing stuff around the house, and he talked to me about the books he was reading. He even talked to me, he even opened up about how he's been a little bullied at school and stuff. He reminds me of me in a lot of ways. He's got like a big heart, and he's very sweet, and I'm just grateful that he is even, in a tertiary way in my life. And so Sam is my empathy hero this week.
Does my empathy hero have to be a person?
No. I'd use dogs.
I want to say Samson, but Samson has a lot to learn from the lily of the field and the bird of the air, because that bird of air sings nonstop, doesn't give a shit about who listens, does whatever needs to be done, and doesn't think about what's going to happen tomorrow, just thinks about right now. And that lily in the field is beautiful, just like every other lily, and it's not unique because there's a bunch of lilies, but it still just shines in the sun and it's happy. I mean, I hope it's happy. I don't really know, but whatever. Tony, do you want to say anything?
Do you want me to share an empathy hero or just anything?
Sure.
Or
why don't you share an empathy hero?
Okay. That's a great question. Now that I suggested it, or put those words, and now I'm blanking on anybody.
It's all right.
We were talking about this person on the way here. Carl Rogers, the famous person-centered therapist who created the client-led experience, not the therapist-led experience, which we were talking about, the importance of empathy and empathic attunement. And Carl Rogers valued the relationship with clients and saw them as the experts of their own lives, and saw his role as catalyst to helping people, like creating a relational environment that would help people find their life and their meaning and their significance. And so, Carl Rogers.
Nice.
So
good one.
Dude, I gotta tell you too about this really cool book. You guys are gonna love it. It's called The Body Keeps Score.
Never heard of it.
I've never heard of this book. Tell us all about it.
I don't even know where to get started. I just had to bring it up.
I think he's making fun of us.
He's making fun of us because we of course brought it up on every Tony Time and most episodes of this podcast. The first 30 episodes of this podcast we mention it because it's amazing.
It is amazing. One other book I was thinking is, as you were sharing your story, and I'm not sure we've even ever talked about this book, but there's a book called Primal Wound. And I think it's a great book for anybody who's maybe been adopted or who is dealing with somebody who's been adopted. It's I'm trying to remember who the author is. Nancy, I looked it up. I had to cheat. Nancy Newton Verrier. And once again, it's called Primal Wound, Understanding the Adopted Child. Again, it's just a great resource for people who really want to understand, what it's like to be an adopted child and what that, can look like in terms of behavior, relationships, and the way in which the child perceives that experience. So anyway, Primal Wound.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll make sure that link, that book is linked in the show notes, listeners. Daniel, where can people connect with you, learn more about who you are, befriend you, stalk you, wherever?
Only on Instagram because I don't have a Facebook.
All right.
I don't need to get into it, but I don't like Facebook. But I just had to say it enough to let people know that I don't like Facebook.
That's fine.
I don't
That's
think
fair.
you should be on that website.
Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, sorry, Mark. I think you should probably go outside. But
Instagram's cool.
Yeah, Instagram's cool though, and my tag is @Daniel_Griffith, and that's how you'll find me.
Awesome.
And I'm going to plug something because no one never does it because he's biased. But if you want to listen to the podcast, you can listen to it on Google Play and Google Podcasts, and you can write a review there too.
That is true.
Because some people have Android phones and they use the Google platform, which you probably shouldn't trust either, but whatever.
I'm glad you bring that up. I clearly have a bias because I use an Apple device. And
I've not heard of this Android.
I've not heard of. I don't even know what Google is, but
Google?
Clearly I have.
I have this thing called Safari. I don't know.
I've been isolating the Android people. So apologies to the Android people and Daniel as well.
But I know you said that they don't update as fast, and they didn't, but they finally came out. I don't know why I'm plugging their app. But they came out.
This is the number one Google podcast.
This is the number one Google podcast.
Say I'm in no way at all.
Yeah, I'm in no way associated with Google. But no, they came out with Google Podcasts, and it shows up instantly.
Oh, awesome.
So that's
fixed
the problem because I don't have Spotify and I don't have iTunes, so that was really annoying for me.
Well, I'm glad you made it work. Appreciate it. And listeners, you can listen to You Me Empathy on Google Podcasts.
Who knew?
Who knew? I think I did know. I just forgot. Well, thank you, Daniel. And
Daniel's losing it.
make sure you guys go follow Daniel on Instagram. Anything more to say before I wrap up?
No, but if anybody ever needs to reach out, you can always reach out to me on Instagram, and I will always be your friend because if you can do something, you have to do it. At least in my mind.
I love
it. If you can make the world a better place and you don't, then you're being a douchebag.
I was like, okay, it started very positive, but
That was a joke.
okay. We understand.
Do we still have listeners? Hello.
Of course. Well, thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Tony, for just sitting and watching your Instagram feed.
Yeah, thank you.
And to you listeners, I'm here, you're here, we're here together on this wayward, overwhelming, awe-inspiring pale blue dot. We have each other. It's You, Me, Empathy.
love.